It's term 4, week 6. In today's digital learning update, our upcoming Shobi rollover for 2021. How do you download the student's work which you want to keep? Digital content looks just as good on Zoom without the green screen. Let's see how this is done expertly by a teacher. And up close and personal with Ms. Rahat and Mr. Fazil. We have a great digital learning update for you today. Stay tuned. Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome to Term 4 Week 6 edition of our Digital Learning Update. Google Classroom and Shobi are two key online learning platforms that the college introduced at the start of remote learning. With the return of face-to-face teaching, both these platforms continue to play a crucial role in our teaching and learning practices. With the end of the school year approaching, the Digital Learning Committee will be communicating rollover procedures for Google Classroom and Shobi for 2021. This will be communicated to all teaching staff towards the end of the term. However, we have made a decision to reset Shobi for all students. I've shared this with all staff during the PL session prior to Melbourne Cup. I would also like to share with teachers on what they need to do prior to the Shobi rollover at the end of the term, which may affect the work that students have uploaded to Shobi. Let's have a look at this video.
Assalamualaikum everyone. This is just a quick announcement in regards to the rollover of Shobi. One of the key issues that we have been facing this year is that students are logging into Shobi and using Shobi using their personal email accounts. Now, this has resulted in students with 2 or 3 different accounts within Shobi, and as teachers it's very difficult for us to kind of keep track on which is the account that is being used. So we have made a decision to reset Shobi at the end of this year. What this actually means is that students will all be removed from Shobi and they will be required to join Shobi again at the start of next year, this time around using only their school email address. So as teachers, there may be some work from students which we want to keep as exemplars and samples for the next year. Or your students may even want to keep a copy of their own work. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you on how you can download your students' work from Shobi and then storing it in your laptop. So let's get started. This is my Shobi app on my iPad. I'm selecting my class, and then here you can see there's a few folders. Let's click on one of the folder and select an assignment. So once I click that, you will see the list of my students. Let's click one of the students' name to view the assignment, and say for example this is the assignment which I want to download. Then I'll just press and hold on the image, and then there is a share button here. Click on the share button. 2 options: you can make a copy or you can also share it to other platforms. I'm going to click the second option and I'll be sharing it to my OneDrive, where I would have already set up a folder to store the assignments or the students' work which I would like to keep. Now, another way of downloading the students' work is through the browser. So you will need to start your browser, either Safari or Chrome, and then log into your Shobi account. So similarly here, you will select your class and then choose the assignment which you want to download. So assuming that this is the assignment which you want to download, on the right click on the 3 dots and choose download. Here you have the option of downloading the student's work or even downloading the feedback that you have provided to the students. So click on download, and then this will be downloaded into your computer under the downloads folder. So that's it. That's how simple it is to download your students' work from Shobi. So just a reminder, we will be doing the rollover exercise during the PL week. So technically we still have about 4 weeks before that day. So you may want to get started early to save some of the important work from your students, which you may want to keep for future use.
With this, we as teachers need to be mindful on whether we want to keep some of the students' work as reference or exemplars for 2021. If this is not the case, then there will be no action required on your end. You may also want to inform your students regarding this so that they can download their work for future reference. Moving on, let's talk about digital content creation. I've mentioned many times in my previous updates that digital content creation can take many forms, such as the green screen recording feature on the iPad, and even Zoom. While we have been sharing many content that utilizes the green screen, let's not lose focus of our aim, which is to reach every child in every class, every day. That means that content created using Zoom and screen recording feature are equally valuable and important in realizing our aim. In today's update, I would like to share with you how Miss Amy Winnan created a content using Zoom for a science experiment. Let's take a look.
Hi students! You're going to be conducting an experiment on the properties of materials. That's pretty exciting. Let's start by taking a look at the assignment sheet. You're going to be choosing a selection of materials to experiment upon. You're going to plan your experiment, conduct your experiment, and then write up your finished experiment report when you're all done. The main headings your experiment will need to have are title, goal, materials and safety, steps, results and data, and conclusion. Let's take a look at an example I prepared earlier. You can see that this experiment is called My Testing of Stuff. The goal is to see how stuff does different things under stress. The materials and safety I've listed, and I've planned the steps of my experiment before I conduct it. This is the part of your experiment you will need to write down before you actually test your materials. Let's take a look at what it might look like when we test our materials. In this experiment example, you can see that I have already listed the objects I'm going to test, filled out the material properties, and made a prediction. I'm conducting my experiment in the same way by pressing on each object with my right hand, and I'm noting down the observations that I'm making as I conduct my test. In this example, I'm seeing what happens to each material when I squash it. And as you can see, I've nearly finished with squashing my Play-Doh. That was the last material I tested in this example. Now let's take a look at what my results and conclusion might look like. In this example, I have noted that the Play-Doh, elastic band, and cardboard roll did squash, but that the Lego brick didn't change. I've also shared some of my thoughts in my conclusion. What do you think? How did I do? In fact, I'm going to zoom out on my example experiment and show you what the whole finished product might look like. You can see that I've listed my title, goal, materials and safety, and steps, which I did before I conducted my experiment. Then I've come back and filled out my results and my conclusion. Imagine that you are the teacher. Have a look at my assignment. How would you mark me? How did I do? I hope you enjoy conducting your experiments, boys and girls, and that your results end up looking something like this. Enjoy your experiments and have a great time doing some science.
Thanks, Miss Amy, for the great video. With this video, I hope you realize that content even created in Zoom is equally effective for teaching and learning. Students are still able to access this digital content on their device and able to follow the instructions in class. As a teacher, you have complete control of the whole process, and you do not require additional people to be involved in your production. Any digital content is useful as long as it is effective. With this, I would strongly encourage teachers to continue creating your own digital content using any method that you like. Rest assured, the digital learning team will be there to support you in this. In our last segment, I would like to share some fantastic work our student production team have been doing. Over the past few weeks, the student production team have been heavily involved in community newsletter production as well as the Teachers' Day event. Today, I'll share with you a video that has been created by our student production team where they speak to our school founders, Mr. Fazil and Ms. Rahat. Let's head over to our student production team.
Today we have two very special guests, the founders of the college, Ms. Rahat and Mr. Fazil. Assalamu alaikum, welcome. Mr. Fazil, our school has managed to transition into remote learning much more smoothly than other schools have, thanks to our amazing staff and teachers. What would you like to say to them in relation to this?
So yes, that's correct. We had a very well planned program for remote learning, and staff really got involved in producing videos and making it as easy as possible. So a huge jazakallah khair, a huge thank you for everyone who put in that time and that passion. There was a lot of passion involved in producing all of that content, getting accustomed to new technology. So thank you for your patience and for all the hard work that you put in at that time.
And Ms. Rahat, what would you consider to be the largest road bump we have overcome with online learning?
I think one of the biggest road bumps probably just the notion of change.
Yeah.
That the mention of the word sends shivers up people's spines. So for our staff to actually overcome that was a huge boost, I think, for their confidence, because it was something that none of us could have prepared for. It just came out of the blue.
Definitely.
But I think everyone kind of rised up to the challenge.
Yeah. And Ms. Rahat, what was the most difficult part of remote learning?
Not being able to, have everyone physically in the one space.
Yeah.
And at times, particularly when the cameras are off, it's really hard to connect. You don't know what the emotions are behind that, so I think that was a challenge.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say you enjoyed most about this whole experience?
The fact that we could connect to so many people that we never thought we could before. The opportunities this actually opened up for many of us to attend webinars at ease with people from all around the world, and grow in our learning.
I think another big success of remote learning was the story time for primary school. Those staff members that have been involved in that story time, if they just walk out at lunchtime, they'll have a whole group of students running after them, reminding them, can we do story time again?
Yeah, they really enjoyed it. Yes. And Mr. Fazil, tell us your greatest achievement.
First, I'd like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who gives everybody the opportunities and the tawfiq to do things. I think one of the greatest achievements that I've been involved in, it's not my greatest achievement, there's a lot of people involved in that achievement, is establishing a learning community. We have people who come and pray here. We have people who have social connections as part of the school community, and we're all learning. As students we're learning, as staff members we're learning, as community members we're learning. So I think that that sense of community is absolutely wonderful.
And what would you say is the best part of being the principal of Al Sirat College?
The best part would be just seeing transformation in the best creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's human beings. Just to see how people are when they join Al Sirat, and how students are when they join Al Sirat, especially in foundation, and then to see them as accomplished individuals and grown-ups and adults and accomplished individuals that are doing well, and just being good people, being people of good manners, akhlaq, people of their deen, that is very rewarding and satisfying. Alhamdulillah.
And Ms. Rahat, what do you like most about teaching others and being a teacher?
I think it's the best profession.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the profession of our Prophet ﷺ. He was sent as the best teacher, the best educator. So to be able to interact with the young people, I think it's such an honor We learn so much more from them every day.
Mr. Fazil, do you enjoy cooking at home?
I don't cook at home. I might make chai, but that's about it.
Aside from your famous chai, do you enjoy any other cuisine? What's your favorite cuisine?
I enjoy eating cuisine, but to be honest, I'm not really a cook. I can boil some eggs and make some eggs, but look, it's like my children. They're all favorites.
Just be careful with the cake. Hide the cake.
Hide the cake.
Yes. Hide the cake.
Okay, on behalf of the entire college, I would like to thank you for taking out the time to answer these questions, and we're all really happy to be part of such an amazing community, and we love seeing the college grow every day. And
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Laila Rashid, for covering the interview with Mr. Fazil and Ms. Rahat. It's great to engage fellow staff in discussion and conversation in regards to their views of digital learning and many other topics. So let's wrap up today's update by recapping what we covered. In the first part of our update, we shared some information on Shobi rollover procedures. We also had a look at a digital content created in Zoom, which proves to be equally effective to a green screen video. And lastly, our student production team got in touch with Mr. Fazil and Ms. Rahat for an interview. It's fantastic to see teachers and now students creating their own content. We will have more to share in our upcoming updates. Till then, let's continue to reach every child in every class every day. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum.